Today we're going to talk about how to live vibrantly, why it's really hard, and what to do about that. So, how to live vibrantly, number one. The reason I came up with Vibrance is it just really resonated with me. I went through a really difficult 5 years, probably actually a decade. Multiple things went wrong. My depression, my anxiety, I was diagnosed with PTSD, everything just kind of came to the forefront. And I kept picking myself up because I knew, even though I didn't feel like it at that time, that I wanted this big, full life. And that was living vibrantly, and it was just this kind of like whisper of inspiration for me for a long time. And then I found a way to actually make it happen. And so how you live vibrantly is you are fully you, the messy, the complicated, the parts that you don't want anybody else to see too. You're you, and you're good with that. And that's a huge ask. I'm sure you can feel that. How you live vibrantly is you are clear on your desires and your wants and your needs, and you get them. So that's how you also live vibrantly, is make a plan and you make it happen. How you live vibrantly is you can still adjust. You don't need things to go the exact way that you plan them to go. You know that the universe, the world, like something's gonna happen, something may derail you, and you're gonna keep going. So that's how you live vibrantly. You can adjust, you can like bob and weave and still make it happen, that big vision that you wanted, and you are fully you. You are there, you are in your life, and that's a beautiful thing. So why are we all doing it? Because it's hard. So the 3 S's of why it's hard to live vibrantly are system, your nervous system, boom, 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 society, and self. So nervous system, I'm not gonna go into a whole thing here. Our nervous system, super smart way that our body has adapted and evolved to keep us safe from danger, isn't super well matched with society today, and so keeps a lot of stuff that we don't even know is there, and that's trauma. Our nervous systems act often in a way that completely is the opposite of what we actually want, but it's learned a way to keep us safe. So when you do stuff that doesn't make much sense to you, it's probably your nervous system speaking. Number 2, society. Here's the thing, we live in a patriarchy, a misogynistic, white supremacist patriarchy that prioritizes very few people and penalizes the rest of us because we're not that thing. Society likes to keep us small. And so there's a lot of shoulds, shames, and stories about why you shouldn't get what you want. There's so much more to say about that, but just know, like, when you try and make a change and it's a little different from what people expect from you, or kind of out with what traditional society has done, like, people tend to have some feelings about that. The 3rd S, self, if we haven't resourced that enough, then we kind of often kowtow down to society, telling us that effectively we're wrong. And a lot of us are like, well, they must know better than I do. And so that's why it's hard, because often by living vibrantly, we're doing something pretty radical. We're loving ourselves. We are taking a stand for ourselves. We are just getting what we want. And that can transgress societal norms. And then it can feel really hard because you're like, well, I want this, but I'm being told it's wrong. Must be wrong. So that's why it's hard. And then the 3rd one, self, is kind of a link of the first 2, but if we haven't resourced the self, if we haven't learned to trust ourselves, then it's so much harder to live vibrantly, and we are constantly told we're wrong. We're constantly being effectively gaslit. We are reinforced time and time again that we don't know what we're doing, and that tends to take a toll. So why it's hard to live vibrantly is we're not primed to do this. That's why it's hard. But I am a fan of this concept of and also, which you'll hear me say a lot, but the and also is it is hard, and also you can still do it. What you can do about it is nervous system regulation work. This is can be called many different things. It's healing work, but this is where we really start to resource and regulate the nervous system to allow for this bigger work. So we make things feel a bit safer for ourselves. There's so many ways to do this, like hit me up if you want some of those ways. The next thing to do, society, we have to get comfortable with disappointing people, because your vibrancy is way more important than other people's views. And I know that is hard to compute, but your vibrancy is more important than other people's views. Your work is to get comfortable with that. Your work is to figure out how you can sit with that in a way that feels good. That's the work. Start building self-trust. Start building social proof of how many times you get it right rather than how many times you get it wrong. And you can start to really quickly see that self-trust coming through. This has been way longer than I expected it to be, but I hope you enjoyed it. How to live vibrantly, why it's hard, and what you can do about it. I am here if you want more. Hit me up, give me a shout. I will tell you all the things I tell my clients and myself on the daily basis. So I will see you soon. All right, Chelsea's. Bye.